Hi, I'm Sergio, and today we're going to talk about the 5 different types of chord families. Now, there is a PDF download available for this tutorial at the end of the video, so stick around for that and you'll get the PDF download for my Latin guitar chord ebook, which has got lots of examples and quite a few explanations that I'm going to go through in the video. It's kind of important to know this because if you have a system of understanding what chord family that particular chord comes from, it'll help you structure and work out and how to build your chord vocabulary. It also helps you down the track with understanding the function of the chord and also chord substitution. So we're going to go through, talk about each of the 5 chord families and then some of the characteristics of each chord family and how it's useful to know this information. Now, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. Okay, so what are the 5 chord families? Major, minor, dominant 7th, diminished, augmented. Those are the 5 chord families. Okay, now you can go. No, seriously. So let's have a look at the intervals in each chord. Major chord is built on a major third and then a minor third. So a major third, we're going to talk about C major, major third for the first interval, and a minor third for the second interval. Gives you a major chord, a happy sounding chord because of the major thirds as the first. Chord 2, it's a minor chord and it has a minor interval first, then a major interval. So the minor interval would be then a major, so we get the minor chord. Now usually people and the ear picks up the first interval, not so much the second, and that's the defining interval of major and minor. Major has that first interval going da, da, the second interval da, da, and it gives it a sad feel. The third chord type, and a very popular type of chord family, is the dominant 7th, sometimes known as just the 7th chord. And this is a slightly different category of chord because we have to add an extra note to the mix, an extra interval. So we're going to use the major third, minor third. So it's built on a major chord, but we have to have a flat 7, a flattened 7th interval. In this case, it's a B flat. And that's what gives us our dominant 7th feel. The main thing is that you have at least a flat 7 in there. So the 4th chord type is the diminished chord, which is built on 2 minor thirds. We have our first minor third and then we have our second minor third. So we could play that higher and we get, so that's our diminished chord. Now oftentimes we add a 7th to that and you get a diminished 7th chord, which is more common on guitar, and we have these type of chord shapes. They're all diminished or diminished 7th chords, and the diminished chord is indicated by a little tiny circle or a circle with a dash across it. The augmented chord is our last chord family type, and it's built on 2 major thirds. So if we start with our C, we have a major third and then another major third. So we have a C, E, G sharp. And also they're quite dark, tense chords as well. Really with the augmented chord, you have to just know that you're playing a sharp 5. So every time you see a sharp 5 or a plus sign, you're playing an augmented chord. And they can be also kind of connected to the dominant 7th chords because you can often have a dominant 7th with a sharp 5. This kind of thing. Okay, so those are the 5 chord family types. I just want to make a quick mention on the different types of chords in that family. So we have a C major, we have a C major 7, we can have a C major 9, we can have a C6, we can have a C6 9. Okay, different minor chords. We have a C minor 7, we can have a C minor 9, we can have C minor 11. So these are all different types of minor chords, and basically you know it's a minor because it's got an M, small m or M-I-N at the start. So if you have a C minor 9 and you're not sure how to play that, play C minor 7. Substitute the chords within the chord families. Dominant 7th chords, well, the dominant 7th chords include C7, C9, C11, C13. So again, they're all interchangeable. Obviously, the higher the number you go, the more sort of jazz you get. You know, the 7th is a bit bluesier, but if you have a 9th, it's funkier. the 13th is a little bit more jazzy as well. So all of those interchangeable. Clearly, you can also add extensions, but we're going to talk about that in this video. There's really only 4 types of diminished chords. So if you have a C diminished chord, you could skip to the next third, skip up the third, and play the same shape, and it's really pretty much the same chord. Most of the time on guitar we play a diminished 7th. So whenever you see a diminished sign, just realize that you have 4 different options depending on the voicing of where you are. But you can also use the diminished chords to sort of teleport to a different part of the guitar by staying in the same chord. And it's a really cool way of thinking about diminished chords. Quick note on half diminished chords. Half diminished chords, also built on same intervals, can also be talked about as -7 flat 5. So the C half diminished. So the half diminished can be either called a half diminished or B-7 flat 5. And that's because if you take the 5th and flatten it, you get your second minor third interval. So just watch out for that, because those 2 chords are very interchangeable. And augmented chords, really, it just has to have a plus sign or a sharp 5. Look out for those, usually as chord extensions in a jazz piece. I'd like you to check out my link to the PDF above, and that'll take you to my Latin chord ebook, where I have lots of examples of different types of chords, of these Latin chords, and also a little bit of information around how chords are built. There's lots to talk about, lots of theory, and I'm sure that you're probably feeling a little lightheaded with the amount of information I've given you, but all of this will hopefully help you to start to have a better understanding of chords, harmony, and chord vocabulary. If you like this video and you got through to this far, please like and subscribe, and it helps get my channel out there and the guitar knowledge out there. And I really appreciate people giving me feedback, so let me know. Quite certain there'll be some questions in the comments, so feel free to shoot away at some comments, some questions around some of this slightly dense theory. But it's all kind of fun when you start putting it together, so I really encourage you to get the guitar out and play some of these chord diagrams and put them together. I've also put a lot of chord progressions in there that you can start mucking around with. You'll find that with guitar, there's guitar keys, so once you've sort of played in A minor a bit, you realise that you have half diminished in A minor there, and you might find that you have an E7 flat 9. Once you've played it a few times, moving on to the next piece with the same chord or chord progression becomes a lot easier. So that's it for me now, and I'll see you next time.